Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's still your baby girl Gloria. Are you wondering if you should come to the UK with your family, or you should just leave them behind, come to the UK, do all the struggling, all the hustle, and then go back to bring them few weeks, few months, or few years? Let's talk about this because this is a very important topic. You see, most of my videos I'm able to relate because I was once in this situation. When I was coming to the country, I had my family. I wasn't sure if I should come with them, if I shouldn't come with them, because of so many reasons. So now let's talk about it, and then I will leave you to decide. I cannot decide for you. I cannot tell you that definitely come with them, definitely don't come with them. But let's talk about the things that are involved. Even if you're not yet at the stage of you getting your visa, or some of you cannot leave your family, you're like, oh God, I cannot leave my baby, I cannot leave my husband. You know, my husband has to be here, my wife has to be here, I cannot leave them behind, I cannot do without them, I'm not going to survive, I'm going to die. Don't worry, you're not going to die. But now let's talk about what is involved. What are the things you need to consider before you make up your mind to either bring your family or not to bring your family? So the first and most important thing is your money, finance. How financially able are you? Do you have money to process all their visa? I remember back then when we were still paying head surcharge, it cost me, with everyone, with the flight and everything, almost £10,000 to be able to sponsor everything surrounding bringing family. Good enough if you're a medical personnel, if you're a nurse especially, you're not going to be paying the head surcharge. So all you're going to be paying for just now is the visa and the ticket. So do you have enough money to sponsor all their visa? Do you have enough money to sponsor all their flight, all their ticket to the country? Do you have money for accommodation? Even though you have your money for your accommodation, are you going to get a place you're going to keep them? Because your employer will not sponsor your family's accommodation. Even if they're going to give you accommodation your first 1 month or your first 2 months, they're not going to give you enough accommodation that will cover your family's living. You need to also decide, do you have someone where you're going that can help you look for a house? Do you have money for hotel, money for B&B, where they can stay before you actually find a place to live when they come into the country? So that is another thing. Another thing is, how focused are you when you're around your family? Because you know you have OSCE to do, you have OSCE exam to write, you have trainings to attend. I don't know what your own workplace will be arranging for you. For me, I had to travel few times to England. I traveled, I think, about 3 times to England for training, OSCE training, before I eventually took the exam. So how focused are you around your family? Are they going to be distraction? Are they going to allow you to study? I always even say that sometimes saying you're not bringing your family because they will disturb you for your exam is actually not enough reason. Because I remember in my own time, when I first came, I was spending hours on the phone, hours on video calls, getting frustrated. When I go to work and I come back, I just want to cry. I don't want to eat. I hardly cook because I was really feeling really sad, feeling really sorry. Even if I want to put one food in my mouth, I'm thinking, Gloria, you're eating. Do you even know if your child is eating where they are? I know they're in a very good hand because my mom was there to take good care of them, but I had this self-guilt, self-consciousness. I don't want to smile too much. You know, if you're this type of person that you know that all this is going to be a problem for you, why not bring them if you're going to be suffering yourself, even phoning them? The hours I spend on phone call, video chat, I want to know what my child is doing at this point. If they are not picking my call, I'm frustrated. The hours you even waste doing this, it's going to be the same by the time they are here and they disturb you for a few hours and then you can still read. So that is another thing you want to consider. Another thing you want to consider is, what do you really want and what does your family really want? Because there's some partner, there's some husband, there's some wife that will say, you go first and I'll come later. They will not come with you initially. Because I had that incident with my husband who did not want to come. But eventually, because my children's visa were refused, he had no other choice. He said that I come back to the UAE or he joins me. So that was how he came. It may be the case of your partner is not ready to come with you, so automatically you need to come alone. Another concern you may have also may be that if you have young children especially and they're not school age, how will you walk around them? Especially, let's say if you're a single mother or your partner is not coming with you at the time, or you don't know someone who, you don't have someone who is going to support you when you come to the country, you have no one to come with you yet, and then you want to come alone with young children, young family. Even if the visas were granted, How do you think you're going to cope in a country you don't know anything about, where you have no friend, you have no family support? I used to say back home it is easy to have children. It is easier to just have as many children as you want, because you can have 2 to 3 house help, you can have your in-laws, you can have your mother, you can have your immediate family to support you, to help you. So if you're coming to the country and then you don't have all these plans to who will take care of my children, how will I manage with them, is my partner coming with me, am I going to be able to afford childcare, do I have my in-law, do I have my mom, do I have my father, do I have somebody who's going to be a support system, or do I have co-workers that are ready to help me when I come to the country with these children, especially if they are young? These are some of the things you also want to consider. And cost of accommodation, feeding is not something cheap, especially if you've not earned your first pound in the country. Converting your currency into pound, because pound is one of the most powerful currency in the world. For instance, now I buy one water, maybe £1. £1 is already a lot of money back in Nigeria. So if you're coming from a place like Nigeria and you're going to convert that money to pound, it's going to be nothing. Are you going to be able to afford their expenses, their feeding, their transportation, their maintenance, miscellaneous? If yes, if everything I've said is tick, 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 or it is few ticks and just few no, yes, you can consider bringing them. Nobody will stop you from bringing your family. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of people asking me, can I bring my family to the UK? Is it okay to bring my family to? Nobody will stop you, not even your employer. Nobody can stop you. As long as you have your tier 2 visa, you are able to sponsor your family to bring them under you. All you need is a maintenance letter. Sometimes it's attached to the certificate of sponsorship. Sometimes it's just a separate letter to say the company, usually they will provide also amount of money for the first few months that they'll be in the country, in case they have emergency, in case they need the money, in case you become stranded, maintenance letter. And if you're self-sponsored, if you have that amount of money in your account, you are able to bring them. Nobody will stop you. Usually their visas will be granted. But it is just about you, your circumstance, your partner's circumstance, what you want for your family. I have people who want to leave their family back home because they have more support system back home. They have people who have been taking care of those children for years and they are very happy there. There's no need bringing them to stress yourself or stress themselves. So it is the matter of you deciding at what stage do you want to bring your family. For me, it was easier for me to come first, to see things first. If I don't like it, I can go back to where I was and then go back to my life. It can be that you're ready to make that big move with all your family, just put everything in the bag and just come. And once you bring your family, it is now a lot of responsibility in your head. You're thinking you have to meet up to expectation, but do not be pressured to do something that is not in your comfort zone. You need to weigh the advantage and the disadvantage. I'm not going to tell you to definitely bring them. I'm not going to tell you not to bring them. And at what point you bring your family depend on you as well. You can bring them in as early as 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as long as you've got everything I've stated, all the resources you think you need, and you're ready to have your family. Family is a lot of support. Sometimes I think having your family with you in that initial stage is very helpful, because for me, I struggled a lot because I needed that support system. Coming back from a stressful work, from a stressful environment, and coming home to meet your family, meet your children who will run to you by the door and hug you, give you a smile, will help you to forget all those stress. Unlike when you're coming back, you have nothing to come back to. You have to call them, you're frustrated. And sometimes you being able to go through all the stress alone by yourself can also be the way you cope. And God forbid, in case you do not pass your OSCE in the 3rd attempt, you also need to consider the fact that all your family with yourself may need to leave the country and reapply. So imagine that you've brought all your children, you've brought everything, you've sold your property back home, you've sold your house, and the whole world knows that you're traveling, and then God forbid you don't pass the exam. It will be more stressful for you than just come, do the exam, pass it, and boom, bring your family. It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter. It just depends on you, okay? I'm not going to discourage you, and I'm not going to say bring them. So do whatever you think suits you, as long as you know that these are the things that you need to be ready for. As long as you're ready to do this, good luck with you. I'm not going to stop you, and I wish you good luck in your endeavor. And I'm sure once you have your family with you, you have people who are going to support you even in your workplace. Speak to people, ask for help, the school is not going to be a problem. Once you know where you're going, you know where you've got your job, you just need to contact the council in that area, enroll them in school free of charge, especially if they're still young children. Those are not going to be a problem. Even uniform is not that expensive. Feeding is also not too expensive, depending on how financially buoyant you are. So this shouldn't be a big problem for you. I know it may be a little bit difficult. It is difficult for everyone, with or without family at first. So that should not be a criteria. Just your own situation is what will determine if you should bring your family or not. I hope this video has been helpful and guide you a little bit to what you should be ready for. And I will see you again in my next video. Until then, stay safe, good luck in all your endeavor, and I will see you later. Bye.